Hello YouTube, welcome back, and this is going to be a special bee video, kind of not quite a bee Q&A video, but I'm going to address some questions that I keep getting in the comments, some repeated questions that people keep asking. Mainly, the main question is, where's the Flow Hive? A lot of people are just jumping into the channel and they're watching a video and there's no honey harvesting going on, and they're asking, you know, where's the hive, where's the Flow Hive? How come you don't have any flow frames in your Flow Hive? Or saying that it's not really a Flow Hive. And I just want to say right up front, this is a Flow Hive. I got this on day number 1 on the Indiegogo campaign back in February of 2015. And it says right here, Flow Founding Supporter, right on the side of the hive. And this is the Flow Hive right here. So this is the frame that's going to go up here once the bees are ready for it. So let me just back up quickly and explain sort of beekeeping, explain like I'm 5, 101 basics. If this is your first video that you're watching on my channel, or if one of the more recent ones is your first video, go back to the very beginning of my playlist here. Every time I've ever done anything with bees, I've recorded it. So I have every single thing I've ever done on this hive with these bees has been filmed. And if you go back to the beginning, you can see the whole thing. There's only about 10 or 12 videos so far, so it's not that hard to go back. I've been a beekeeper here with this hive for 54 days. So 54 days ago, I was not a beekeeper. I'd only ever read about bees. I'd only ever watched YouTube videos about bees. I'd only ever studied bees by asking a few beekeeper questions. But basically, I had never touched bees or been around bees before 54 days ago. So this is my very first time. I am a total novice. I'm still learning every day. I'll probably be a novice for a while. But the point is, this is my first hive, and this is the first time I've ever done anything with bees. So the main question of, is this really a Flow Hive, is yes, it is a Flow Hive, but no, I don't have the flow frames in there yet. So it's still just a beehive. It will be a Flow Hive once the flow frames go in and the bees start filling these with honey, and then I will turn the magic key and the honey will flow out of the frames. Up until that point, this is just like any other Langstroth beehive, which is the basic beehive you see all over the countryside. A box with frames in it that the bees live in. If you're keeping bees as a beekeeper, a beehive is basically 2 parts. A bottom and a top. The bottom is your brood. It's called the brood box or the brood nest. That is where the bees live. That's where the queen lives. That's where the queen lays eggs. That's where the baby bees come from, and that's where the bees fly in and out of. And it's where the little baby bees are born, where they hatch, where they're taken care of by the nurse bees. The worker bees leave the hive from the bottom of the hive. They go out, they gather nectar and pollen, they come back in. They fill the honeycomb with nectar, which they then convert into honey, which feeds the baby bees. That's this part of the hive right here. The top part of the hive is called the super. That's where the honey goes. Now, in a standard hive, the frames on the super look just like the frames in the brood. They're just standard wooden frames. Sometimes they have foundation, sometimes they look like mine with no foundation. The way a Flow Hive differs is a Flow Hive has these special frames which go in to the top. These look like little honeycomb. The bees are going to finish off these honeycombs here. They're going to fill them with nectar. Then that turns to honey, and you can harvest the honey right out of the box, like this. Honey comes right out of the back. In a standard hive, you have to remove the frames, take off the caps, get the honey out of the frames, and then put them all back in there. On a flow frame, you can harvest the honey without taking the frames out of the hive. So that's the only way a flow hive differs from a regular hive. So up until now, every video I have, everything I've done up till now has just been what you would do if you had a regular hive. What I'm trying to do is get the bees to build their brood nest in these 2 bottom boxes. That's the plan. I want them to have 2 boxes full of their brood, of their nest, of their honey, their stores for the winter. Because once winter hits here in New England, it's a very cold, long winter. I want them to survive the winter. So I'm trying to build a strong hive before I add on the honey super on the top so that I can get honey. If they have these 2 frames filled and it's full of nectar and all the bees are healthy, I'm going to cover this up for the winter. I'm going to take this right off, and they're going to live in these 2 boxes for the winter. If things are really full here when I check this out in the next couple weeks, I'm hoping to get the flow frames in the top, maybe end of July. I'll put these in here, and then hopefully the bees can start working on these in August and September and October, filling these with honey. If that's the case, I'll be able to get a little honey harvest for the fall. I'm going to remove the top box and the flow frames for the winter, because I'm not going to leave these in over the winter. They will have these 2 boxes to live in for the winter. That'll be all their honey. I'm not even going to touch that honey. So that's my plan. What you're watching now, I'm just helping the bees build their brood. Once they're in here, that's when I'm going to add my flow frames and get any honey out of this. If I don't get any honey this year, I'm fine with that. This is my first year as a beekeeper. This is the first year of this hive. These bees have only been in here for 54 days. I want them to have a strong hive, and I want them to survive the winter. So that's my main goal. If I get honey out of it this year, great. Next year, I'm definitely going to get some honey. This year, I just want them to survive the winter. So that's my plan. So you can keep watching, and maybe this year we're going to get some honey out of this hive. I'm hoping. I mean, we'll probably get a little bit, maybe get a frame of honey out of it. But all along the way, you're just watching me learn how to be a beekeeper. And if you want to learn how to be a beekeeper, or you're thinking about getting a flow hive, you're going to have to go through all this stuff too. Everyone has to build the brood first before they get the flow frames in there. You can't just get a hive and start getting honey. The bees have to build the brood, they have to build their nest, their home, then you can get honey after they're strong and healthy. So that's what we're doing here. I hope that explains why there's no flow frames in there yet. So if you have more questions, just ask below. I will try and get to them in the comments. If not, I'll have another full Q&A video coming up. And again, please go back to the beginning and watch me from the start. I built this hive over the winter time. I got the bees in May, and I put them in, and like I said, this whole thing is documented from day one, from before day one. So, you know, come along for the ride. You'll watch, you'll learn just like I'm learning, and I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you coming by, and I appreciate the questions. I appreciate all the comments and suggestions. I'm learning so much from the comments and from you guys, and it's translating into, you know, a good, strong hive. I think things are going really well. So thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe. I'm putting out an update video on the hive every single week. I do my inspections on Thursdays, and sometimes the videos get up Thursday night, sometimes Friday morning, but basically I do the inspections Thursdays, and there's a video up within 12 hours or so. So that's the story. Thanks for watching. I hope this answered the question about the flow hive, and I also really hope this was recording.